So, Mark, did you see that the price of hot dogs at Casino Royale is now $3.99? Just a few years ago, it was $1.99. Inflation sucks.
Yeah, what does Chris do? Does he just walk around and take pictures of signs of food? Like, it's impressive the amount of stuff that he's able to come up with and remembers what it was or has a photo of what it was. But they didn't take the Costco plan where you just keep the price the same for 30 years, huh?
The good news here is they're still a foot long, Mark.
I know where you want me to go with this, but I'm not going to.
So at the end of the last show, it talked about the A's groundbreaking. It was happening as we recorded, and it did happen in a big tent. And there was a lot of people, didn't change anybody's mind, right? People who thought the stadium still isn't happening are saying the same thing. One little interesting tidbit broke that the construction equipment, the bulldozers used in the background, was rented for the day, not actually being used on the site for construction.
So he's wasting money he doesn't have already.
Smoke and mirrors, smoke and mirrors.
I was right. It's going to be all net where they're just going to push dirt around for like 3 years.
I don't know, but I think Vegas Visual had it right when he said, if you think it's going to get built or it's not going to get built, you are not aware of the entire picture. The picture is currently fuzzy, taken with an Instamatic Kodak camera, but it's certainly within the realm of possibility that the picture will be fully developed. I think that says it right. I mean, there's still ways that this could not happen and definitely many ways that it could.
Is an Instamatic Kodak like the disposable cameras back in the day? What is that?
He always brings it back to nostalgia, to old. He speaks in terms of 50 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know if it was like their version of a Polaroid camera or what, but yeah, I agree. I mean, until you get financing, but I just, like you've said, I don't think that they would, this far along, they would let it fail. It would look really bad for MLB. So I'm guessing that they're going to step in if he needs financing and find somebody, pair them up. Everybody always wants to own part of a sports team. So even if he has to give up a bit of ownership or something, there will be a way to make this happen. It just might not be on the timeline that we had originally anticipated.
It's funny watching all the coverage of this, and you would never know that there was supposed to be a casino built there alongside the stadium. The casino was always going to come later. Bally's been quiet. We know they have a lot of trouble, but nobody ever mentions the casino anymore.
A match made in heaven.
Yeah, Bally's is definitely the A's of the casino world. Sorry to all A's fans. We are excited for this.
All 12.
So let's move on to BLVD. I'm going to call it BLVD because there is a Boulevard Mall in Las Vegas as well. But BLVD is the new mall on the South Strip. And Chris Holmes speaking of him, got his drone up in the air. And we have a new kind of look at what it looks like now. 4 shops are open, but you're starting to see the frontages sort of emerge. Netflix House was announced for here for 2027. You have that giant In-N-Out, the Overlook. I just wanted to say when I saw this video, it just reminded me what an improvement this is to Hawaiian Marketplace, the strip malls that were there before.
Yeah, it really does look nice. And I love that ABC Stores is in there. Give CVS a run for their money on the strip, but you know, it's such a legendary store in the Vegas area that it's good to see it have a frontage like that. And that's where I would go to grab some, you know, walking beverages and all of those types of things. But I know you're probably really excited that they're having a sourdough pizza place go on the top floor.
Yeah, I saw that, and I don't know a lot about the pizza place, but looking forward to that. And I think the views from up there are going to be cool. You have the overlook where you'll just be able to hang out, look out over there. And we've talked about more and more of these skytop, rooftop views in Vegas, and this is going to deliver it for free. Heck, you'll be able to eat your In-N-Out sandwiches with great views. And again, I just think that it's not a giant casino, it's just a mall, but it definitely improved that little stretch.
You know that free areas where all the hooligans that have below 650 credit score are going to be, foreshadowing to later.
And one other Chris Holmes update, man, he, like you said, he's just been all around doing great work. Please follow him and support his content and what he's doing. He did get over there to film the new entrance to Eataly that's now opened. They closed it a couple months ago, the revolving doors, and I guess this is probably to save air conditioning. So now you have an air curtain in between the outside entrance and the inside entrance. Once you get inside, it looks exactly the same, but here you go.
I know some people don't really like revolving doors too, so this will probably ease the flow and make people feel more comfortable going in and out. Like you said, save on air conditioning. So I'm guessing the amount of savings was substantial to go through all the cost of rehabbing all of this.
So the talk of Vegas being slow this summer is still permeating everywhere. Las Vegas locally had an interesting tweet recently. What are 3 things Las Vegas could do to instantly attract more tourists? You got a lot of the very typical responses: get rid of resort fees, parking charges, lower rates, stop nickel and diming, and yeah, don't allow anyone under a 650 FICO score to come to Vegas.
That was such a weird one. And you have to have $1,000 in the bank account to even enter the city. I'm like, that won't make it busier. But yeah, good try. A lot of this is, everybody wants better deals, lower rates, no more fees. That's all in the casino's control. That's not anything that like the city of Las Vegas can do as a whole. And they just don't seem to want to do that. We've seen a little bit this summer them start to offer up some deals and those type of things. But I like the one like a free drink coupon at check-in. That doesn't cost them really anything. Most of the time, it probably costs them like $2 in actual cost for the drink. Yeah, they could have charged you $7, $10, $15 or whatever, but their net cost is just a few bucks. And that really does give you like, oh, cool. I have this, like, I'm going to go take advantage of this. Starts off your day right, your trip right. Something little like that. Just, show that you care that they're there. And we don't have those small touches anymore with these big corporations running everything. And you just lose kind of the feeling of specialness, which is what drove everybody to Vegas in the first place.
Yeah, that person said make customers feel like they are special again. And the loyalty programs, the rewards programs used to do that. And in the last few years, the moves have been to use algorithms to give customers as little as possible while still maintaining this loyalty. And they have algorithms looking at who you are, and they're maximizing everything. And maybe in that, this feeling special is lost. They don't handwrite comps anymore. You don't get any unexpected stuff. We've definitely seen them turn on the spigot of comps. More people are getting room offers and things like that, but you don't get those little special touches that maybe you used to in the past. And maybe maximizing everything to an algorithm isn't working out so well. I think that's probably the best thing Vegas can do. As the Venetian CEO famously said a few shows ago, they're going to charge what they can charge, what the market will bear, but they can do things within that to improve the experience and make people want to come back. Yeah, taking away everything that used to do that, they got to come up with some new value proposition.
I think that was the big key of Vegas, was it was an experience you didn't get anywhere else. And even if you were a low roller, you felt special. And it really does tweak with your mind. Like oh, they gave me this and this and this. I got to gamble more. Like I want to make it worth it. I want to get the same thing next time I come. So I don't know how that being as cheap as they've been has worked out well for them, because I think a lot of people have pulled back on the gambling, or they're willing to go to other properties and kind of mix it up a little bit and see what they can get elsewhere. And it's like, just, roll out the red carpet for people a little bit, even if it's low end things, like just having a little welcome amenity in your room if you're a mid-tier player is a big deal, and things like that, like 2 drink coupons when you check in. That goes a long way. Just give it to them at the sports book. If they make a $20 bet, they'll come back and make more $20 bets. Like, there's all these little things they could do that wouldn't cost them a ton of money.
Just pretend like you care about the customers. Just pretend for a second. You don't, but just pretend.
A little bit.
Elaine Wynn passed away recently, and her condo is now up for sale. And this kind of gives us an interesting look inside the home of one of Vegas's biggest moguls, a huge name, even though her husband oftentimes got top billing. She was heavily involved in a lot of what Steve Wynn did. This condo's at the Howard Hughes Center, which I think is a really interesting location view-wise. You see this, she has an outdoor terrace. You got great views. It's for sale for $3.49 million. It's just over 4,900 square feet. But the article says in 2011, her family trust bought it for $3.7 million, meaning that it is now cheaper than it was back then.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised by that, but I am surprised, like, the price tag, period. It just seems somebody that's a billionaire or several hundred millionaire, you would think would be living a little bit more lavishly. And that's something, immense respect that it almost feels like, not that she's slumming it, but that, didn't live lavishly and over the top. She was just kind of what fit her needs. It's very nice. It's a beautiful condo, amazing views. I love the outdoor space. But I would expect, if I was like a billionaire, I would have the most over the top place ever. And maybe that's why I don't have $1 billion, Sean.
Hey, props to her for being humble a little bit, and it's a great look inside of that. I think the location is great, close to everything, and a cool look into that. Is this humble or not? The Grand Villa at Virgin. Carrie Bilicki was recently in there to film it. I didn't know Virgin had any 2-story suites. Now, it kind of gets exciting, but then when you kind of get into the suite, it looks a lot like many of their other rooms. So it's not truly special in that way. You have a downstairs bathroom and upstairs bathroom. You can enter via the patio or doors on either floor. So I always like a hotel room with multiple entrances.
She didn't go into the downstairs bathroom all that much, just kind of like filmed it as walking by, but it gave me like locker room vibes, didn't it? With the tile and stuff. It felt a little bit weird.
Yeah, it's very, I think, very similar to their standard bathrooms. The one upstairs wasn't particularly fancy either. This does overlook the event lawn, and yeah, I mean, it looks like a cool room.
Event lawn.
Mark's favorite place, the event lawn. Can you imagine? There used to be a pool there. It used to be a poolside.
It would be awesome if that was still a pool there, or maybe it would drive people nuts with all the noise and everything. But it would be a really cool spot if they had events on the event lawn or live music or something. And I know they do occasionally, but it just hasn't been used at all. And it could be a really cool space. And that would add to the room. Like if they had, somebody playing there that I really wanted to see, that would be worth booking into if you could, and you could afford it and it wasn't crazy price. But what's the selling feature there? Like, okay, I'm going to go outside. It's nice that you have a little patio area, but then you just look at fake grass. I don't know.
So I guess you're not sold on this. I am a little over 2-story hotel rooms. I've been in a few of them, and unless they're giant where you have a lot of space, you don't want to always have to go down and up to go between your different areas of your room. So let us know what you guys
Cranky
think.
old
I guess
man over here.
It's just because I had a terrible one in Venice that pissed me off. So I'm on that horse. But yeah, cool look at this.
Let me play that for you. Let me play that violin.
As a reminder, we have our Patreon. $5 a month gets you access to our weekly after show behind the channel. A lot of fun. I guess I'm going to tell my Tropicana story that I hinted at on the last show. All kinds of good stuff happening there. Patreon.com/MTM Vegas. Thanks to everybody who supports us over there. So, Mark, I am excited. We got new renderings, the freeway construction and the 215 between Pecos and Stephanie. This is for locals. Nobody's excited for freeway construction, 3 more years, but we got renderings of the diverging diamond and the pedestrian bridge in an intersection that I walk across all the time. So I'm excited. We're not getting any new pedestrian bridges on the strip anytime soon, but yeah, us locals, we get this one.
No, it sounds like it would be helpful and keep people out of there and maybe keep traffic moving a little bit more. And diverging diamonds are not my favorite thing, as you know. But yeah, I don't know any other area that loves to make like construction updates newsworthy and has all these models and diagrams and everything. It's kind of crazy that the way Vegas goes. And then it takes them 7 years to build.
This is actually needed really badly, but the only part I care about are the bridge and the diverging diamond. I think widening the freeway probably the more important thing for most people, but the reason you're hearing about it is because I am nerdy about those things. And I hadn't seen the bridge yet, the rendering of the bridge, and that got me all giddy.
I mean, you could have just like gone to the strip, looked at that bridge, and then mentally put it over there.
So all the talk of Vegas being slow, I thought I would just sort of check the room rates this week and look at some of the bigger properties. Now it's sort of impossible to check all of the properties, and I wanted to look what the rates are if you book direct, but you didn't log into a rewards account, because oftentimes, even if you don't have play, like for instance with Caesars, here's the rates that we're looking at. I think the lowest were like $19 a night before resort fee. Logged in, you'll see like $8 a night. Still some decently high weekend rates, so looks like they're still drawing some people in, but the weekday rates definitely as low as we've seen them. I don't think lower than I saw a few years ago. Also kind of similar with Venetian. Rates aren't crazy. Wynn 229 is the lowest I saw during the week over the next couple of months. That matches pretty much what we were seeing in 21 in that era as well. So definitely some value, especially midweek, and some really nice hotel rooms for a decent price.
2 things I noticed. What's going on July 11th and 12th? It's I think Wynn was $1,200 and everything was really high that weekend. Do you know of anything?
I'm failing this instant quiz. Sorry. The only thing I can think of is the Backstreet Boys are starting their residency. There's a few other things going on. Maybe there's a big conference or something. I noticed July 4th around that week and weekend wasn't as high as I would expect. So yeah, just go in there. If you are looking for a deal, we say take advantage. You're not going to find it every day of the week, but there are certainly cheap prices, and hotels like Wynn for $229 plus resort fee, pretty good deal. But if you can stack that with some other deals on the credit, like we have FHR deals, use Fine Hotels and Resorts through Amex or Chase's The Edit or some of these others that add perks at these places, could be a really good deal for a couple $100.
Yeah, I also noticed Nobu often was, $50 more than Caesars, or I think it was as low as $20 more, and then it would go up to $150 or $200 more. But I think that's worth it. For $50, especially if you're getting even cheaper rate through the player's card. Would you pay $50 more a night to do Nobu instead of messing with that check-in line at Caesars?
I think it depends. Nobu has smaller rooms. That's really because it's in the older part of the tower. I'm all about square footage. So if you could get in one of the newer towers where they have 500-600 square foot rooms, I think I would prefer those. I definitely enjoyed staying there. I know you did as well. And yeah, I mean, try it out if you haven't been there. Certainly if the premium's not that much more and you've already stayed at Caesars, Nobu worth a look. Yeah, good values. And who doesn't like $8 for Link on a Wednesday night?
Yeah, if you can get the pool cabana, I'd stay there. Otherwise, maybe not. I don't. Not my favorite place, and the elevator situation is terrible there.
I'll pay $8 for those basement rooms that are off limits. I'll give you give me access to those for $8.
It's like the entry fee for the scary house, the haunted house down there.
The horrors.
Unleashed, eating footlongs.
Our next story is another never in Vegas, I guess, and this comes from a friend of the show, Bill Krakenberger, kind of talking about how native casinos can have different rules, and this one applies to your Players Club card. I think we've all put in a spouse's Players Club card or friends, around who wants to earn the points, things like that. The Players Clubs are not tied to the actual gambling, so it really doesn't matter whose card is in there. The casinos don't like that, but it doesn't mean that they can deny paying you a jackpot because somebody else's card is in the machine, except at, I guess, native casinos. And here's a sign that shows that that's the case. Kind of scary, and a reminder that everything isn't quite the same everywhere when you're gambling.
Yeah, I mean, they're on tribal land, so they go by their own rules and their own police force, all that stuff. So you just have to be aware of where you're playing and what you're doing. And if somebody goes to the bathroom and you are going to keep playing while they're in the bathroom, pull that card out, and then, it wouldn't be a big problem. So just something to be aware of. But it does seem kind of cheap in a way just for them to get out of paying a big jackpot or something like that.
Yeah, what if you have like a group of people gambling together, or like slot group polls and things like that? What if one of the people that's standing there, it's their card and they didn't push the button? I don't know quite how that would work. It seems like they wouldn't pay it out, but it's kind of eye-opening, and I think it's wrong. I mean, this is wrong. It shouldn't matter whose card is in the machine. Whoever placed the bet should get paid, and why should a casino be able to deny a jackpot based on that? But yeah, it's I didn't know this. I really didn't know that this existed.
Yeah, if they wanted to like cancel the player's account or take away rewards or whatever, that's all within their right, but they should pay out the jackpot.
So if I was telling you that the oldest dim sum restaurant in all of New York City was coming to Las Vegas, which property would you guess that it was coming to?
Well, probably like Aria, but I mean, there's already one there a bit. So something high end, wouldn't you think?
Well, I would guess, yeah, Wynn, maybe Venetian with their everything that they're doing new over there. No, the JW Marriott. Now, Mark, don't call the JW Marriott not high end. I mean, the casino is a locals casino, is maybe not as nice, but the JW Marriott is a high end brand, and they are adding Nam Hua, which is 105 years old. It started out as a tea house in New York City, does dim sum all day. I looked up their reviews. They're, a little mixed for New York City, but I think that can happen with any restaurant, and it's a big name, and it's coming to Summerlin. Another interesting score for Vegas. We just keep getting these historic restaurants from everywhere opening up a Vegas location.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool addition for Rampart and then the JW. And I still got to get over there and check it out. And this would make me want to go there even more. I love some dim sum. And then hopefully the prices are a little bit cheaper because it's off the strip and you're not, spending $300 on a meal there like you are if you're at Din Tai Fung. That's what I got hit with when I was there, at least.
Yeah, Din Tai Fung is so good with their soup dumplings, but so overpriced. I think this is great. They can draw in a lot of the local people. There's free parking there. Beautiful resort, too, for people considering staying there. I did my first day there, 5-6 months ago? And the resort area of the hotel, really nice, and just really enjoyed it. And a lot of people don't know about it. And hey, maybe this will put it on the map. I didn't know the name Nam Hua, but there you go. The oldest dim sum in New York. That's a marketing slogan if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, I looked at some pictures of the New York location. It looks like very cool and historic and old and just gives you that vibe that you're probably not going to get at the Vegas location, but hopefully the food's just as good.
And let's close with this, the Hard Rock Guitar Tower. So I think 500 by midnight found some of the planning documents that show some of the updates that Hard Rock has done to the Guitar Tower since their initial filings a couple years ago. And I saw casino.org, Corey over there was covering this. And basically, a few things happened. They cut down the size of the spa by about 30,000 square feet, increased the frontage along the strip quite a bit. And then they added, I think, around 75 rooms. So it's going to be around 675 rooms. Initially, it was supposed to be around 600 rooms. And so they sort of accused Hard Rock of cutting out some suites. Now, first of all, I don't care if Hard Rock decided to cut suites out and put regular rooms. It's their market. They're trying to figure out how they can maximize that tower because there'll be huge demand there. But yeah, so it's changed a little bit. And Hard Rock responded to this article saying that it's just the evolution of planning, that they found a bunch of unused space where they put these additional rooms. That's a lot of unused space, Mark, that they just had sitting there. But, you know, when you're filing your initial plans, I guess it makes sense that not everything is fully refined. Now they're actually building it. It'll be a little bit different. And I guess good news, there'll be about 75 more rooms than originally planned.
I'm most surprised that they even originally wanted the spa to be that big. Are spas that profitable in casinos in Vegas that you would give up essentially an entire floor to it?
I would say the Fontainebleau Spa wasn't profitable for them because I got sick and then I couldn't gamble anymore. So there you go. That's my one anecdotal response.
Well, you shouldn't have gone in for seconds.
What do you think about the street level kind of increasing from 96,000 square feet to 127,000? But the overall casino size is shrunken, I think, by about 20% as well. So maybe more retail there. It's going to be more of that overwhelming you right onto the sidewalk.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it. I guess we have to see what it all looks like when they get it out there. But maybe they're going to turn it into, you know, some greenery or something, Sean. Maybe they're going the old school way.
I believe, based on what's happened in Florida, that the room rates on this are going to be significantly higher than their other rooms and that it'll probably be full all the time. So they're probably preparing for that. Recent construction, it's getting up there. You know, we're still a couple years away, but it's starting to take shape and we will start to see exactly how this looks. And, you know, at this point with all these other projects, question marks around everything, this is the one that's probably going to get built and finished. So this is the one that we get to nerd out over for the next couple years.
I just wonder, like, would you want to stay in the guitar or would you want to be in a room that has a great view of the guitar? I don't think staying in it's going to be all that awesome or unique. I'd rather be, whether it's at the main area where Mirage used to be or a different hotel. And then everybody that has a really good view in their hotels is going to get to charge higher rates for those rooms, I would imagine, too.
I do think the South Strip view from that guitar tower where it sits, I think will be pretty spectacular. So you are getting some great strip views the way that it is all set up. It is unfortunate for Treasure Island because a lot of their views are now gone and it's going to change the entire feeling of it. And I just love how Hard Rock responded here. It almost seems like they got accused of something and I don't know what they were getting accused of. Things are going to change. And I guess the accusations were that they were cutting back, right? That they were scaling back their grand plans. And at least this doesn't seem to convince me that that's the case.
No, I don't think so. And they said they're keeping the same amount of suites. But who cares if they turn, 10 suites into 15 rooms or however they want to manage it? If all the square footage is the same, I wouldn't call that cutting back. I would just call changing the way that you think people are going to be booking into it. It makes sense to me why they would do it. And whatever you planned a couple years ago is going to be different now, just like when they said they were going to stay open and then they decided not to.
Perfect example. Yeah, those Hard Rock people, they're always going back on it. But let us know what you guys think about the guitar tower, about these changes. Does it look like maybe they are cutting back there? Hotdog inflation at Casino Royale, is that a huge deal? The Boulevard Mall, Eataly's new entrance, room rates over this summer, how Vegas can attract more people. Leave a comment. We do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, and we'll be back in a couple days with another show. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Have a good weekend, everybody. Bring your FICO score.